stars, the sky. Come on closer, baby, let the lights go out. Yeah, we fall and then we rise. No more alibis, I wanna hide now. Yeah, falling to the fire, baby, we could ride the night. Yeah, I'ma show you, or we could shine the light. Hey, lift your hands, free your mind and mind combine and float up to the higher. It's okay, it's okay. Close your eyes, baby, let me show you pure love, pure love. Come on, baby, let me get you close to pure love, pure love. Pure love, pure love. Pure love, pure love. Walk a straight line, how many fingers? An ecstasy, fragrance lingers. Yeah, and those endless conversations, and you feel it floating now. I finally got you, and I'm following you into the fire. Baby, we could ride the night, yeah. I'ma show you, or we could shine the light, yeah. Lift your hands, free your mind and mind combine and float up to the higher. It's okay, it's okay. Close your eyes, baby, let me show you pure love, pure love. Come on, baby, let me get you close to pure love, pure love. Pure love, pure love. Pure love, pure love. Hold me up, cause you never wanna drop me, not me. Got the key, dancing to unlock me. Side to side, know their fingers don't faze me. Crazy to say, but nothing's gonna stop me. You're dying to get you. I ain't playing with you. I ain't playing with you. You should say what you say. Oh, come on, get it longer. Oh, come on, get it longer. Close your eyes, baby, let me show you pure love, pure love. Come on, baby, let me get you close to pure love, pure love. Close your eyes, baby, let me show you pure love, pure love. Come on, baby, let me get you close to pure love, pure love. Let me show you, let me show you pure love, pure love.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And welcome.
Welcome
Welcome to Brooklyn Cafe. Listen, I want to say congratulations and Merry Christmas, and I don't know what the hell else to say, but welcome to Women's Empowerment Day.
International Women's Day.
Today is not only National, International Day of Women. Don't burn your bras. You don't have to do that no more. That was a thing in the day.
It's been a thing in the day, and as far as we come, we've got further to go.
A lot further to go. We got segments to play. We got guests in here. We have all sorts of stuff going on today. We have, well, you're going to name what we got. We got Lucky in the house.
We got Lucky. We had Fuego 2.0 back in the house. Good morning. We've got Lucky. We just got to get Lucky. Audrey, let's get Lucky a microphone over
Let's
on the
get a
couch,
microphone over from seat white.
So we had
from the
Lucky's
white.
guest joining us for our morning show. We have not had a morning show like we had today in a very long time. I think we scared Bailey a little bit. But there's a lot of hot topics, and
Over there in
you
the
and
white
I
sofa.
were able to have a nice conversation about the hot topics and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world.
It got heated.
It got passionate,
No, it got heated.
but not against each other, just
Against
the
everybody else.
conversation that we had is really, really important. And again,
Now, Lucky wasn't here.
continues-
She didn't hear it.
Lucky didn't hear the conversation. We were talking about what's going on with our kids and what's going on with families. And again, it's International Women's Day, and you know what?
I thought we were talking about gasoline.
We talked about that too. But see, you and I are both in the same room, and we come out with the different strong points. Gasoline have no control over that.
But that is our contribution to the effort.
Yes, but I can't control that. I can have more of a say, though, in what's going on in our government and the abortion bill at 15 weeks and
that.
the kids not getting vaccinated because they're told not to. I'm a big believer in choice. Whatever choice that you take, those choices should not be taken away, is how I feel about that situation.
That's a tough choice. That's a tough situation.
But you know what? I think we're all entitled to choice. I don't think anyone should mandate whether you do or you don't. You should have the choice as to what you do. And our government shouldn't tell our children who are healthy not to get vaccinated because maybe somebody they live with or are exposed to is not. But
It's
that was
funny.
our morning
It's
show.
funny because I hear people say you can't tell me to wear a mask.
We've heard that a long time ago.
And
You know,
then
I
now
lost
I
a
hear-
few friends over that situation.
Well, the funny thing is you put a cloth over your face. It's not like I'm asking you to put a dirty pamper on your face.
Maybe, if you lose a friend over something like that, then maybe they weren't friends anyway.
I gotta tell
Women
you,
Empowerment Day.
If you
today.
get into an argument over this, look in the mirror because there's a lot more things going on right now. We talked about feeling guilty that we get to do the things we do, so I put a poll out, and 75% of the people that came back, Lincoln has these poll things, 75% say they guilty, and then in others they wrote angry, because we should not feel guilty about enjoying the freedom of this country. I get it. But I felt a little guilty that I'm able to get up, do what I do, entertain people. I mean, we're in the entertainment business, what we do for a living.
Why do you feel guilty, though?
Because, I was looking at dinner last night, go, man, maybe I should cut this in half. I don't know what to do with myself. How do I help those? You see on the news what's going on.
So much?
I feel like I shouldn't be eating anything. I feel horrible that I can't do more, that I can't help more.
Well, we can help by doing this because our Roku numbers do now reach worldwide. Thank you to Roku for opening up our channel.
Poland, number
2
one.
weeks ago.
Poland,
so
number one.
we're now able to reach Poland, track our demographics, reach into Russia. You had about 50 homes
50
in that.
people. Yeah,
So
that
you know
is
what?
it.
Every bit helps, every little bit. So I think we have not guilt, but opportunity to share.
I'm Puerto Rican. I don't speak well.
I'm
Whatever.
Jewish, and I should
Whatever
be the
the
queen
word.
of guilt, and I'm
Well,
not.
you are
So
the
I
queen of
take it
guilt.
to have an opportunity
Stop
to
rubbing
share.
that off on me.
To share what we do. So today we've got a great show lined up for you. We got to meet a great artist last week, Melanie Oliva, and she came in so lovely and has a fantastic community of women because she connected me all weekend to some really, really fantastic women. So you're going to get to meet 2 of them live here in the studio today. We're talking about money. We've got art, women empowerment collages, which are spectacular. We have one of our in-house producers, and she is our International Woman of the Day because she comes from a very diverse, multicultural background. So, Audrey, we're going to give you a mic at some point today. You laugh because you think, oh, it's just me, but we have never had a producer in studio that is as diversely cultural as you are. And you're here international as an international student. So, right there alone,
And Lucky is an international student too.
what you learning?
You're not from here, right?
I'm from Puerto Rico.
What is she learning?
Puerto Rico is an international waters.
Your last partner used to say to you, you know that country that you're from?
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember that
I
craziness?
remember that crazy man.
But we've got a lot of stuff lined up for you. And the reason we have all of this delicious bar
Awesome.
ware out for you is because Palm Beach Distillery, Capistara Vodka, regular vodka, rum, and gin that comes to you from Lost Harbor is a woman-owned business, and they're located in Palm Beach County. So as all the Russian vodkas are being taken off the shelf, these are not. These are produced right here in Florida, in Palm Beach County, a women-owned business. The Capistara is vanilla caramel infused. You may change your mind now after you had the coconut rum, I know. And she's got gin and rum, and of course, always our Gubba rum is on set to join us. Because,
USA made.
Excuse me?
USA made. Did you see what
USA
I did
made,
to the
yes.
Stolish Naya bottle?
I did not. Did you put?
Well, if Slick would have been quick on the draw, you would have seen it.
Oh, I've
right
not
down the
seen it.
drain.
Really?
Slick, chew that. I
Wow.
took it, I poured it, I'm done with it.
Well, you can get Capistar and you can get any of the Palm Beach
And vodka.
Distillery products at Total Wine and Spirits. So we're working on, with Summer to bring that even more forward because it is not easy being in women's business in a men's world. And some businesses are more men-driven than others. And we've got Susan Howell joining us. She comes to us from a pretty well-dominated previous career in the male world.
Which
And
is-
here she is talking about female empowerment and money. I'm going to let Susan do all of
Oh,
that.
okay.
And then we've got Natalia joining us. So a lot of great things. And Lucky, you got a mic.
Yes, I do.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm here.
We've missed you.
I miss you too. I miss you too.
Now I gotta tell you, starting off with Lucky, Lucky came up and interviewed a gentleman today who we met on the morning show. And he brought out his little plaque that he got.
Yes.
Because he is a woman empowerment. He's been doing it for years. He's one of the first in Miami. University of Miami gave him an achievement award for doing that.
So Miami Dade College offered the certification for women to empower them and also learn about the woman movement and help them in leadership. So if they're trying to if it's a business or if they're an artist and how to empower themselves and be a leader. And he, I believe he's the only male that has taken that certification. And so he called himself el feminista. So he's a feminist. And his goal is to empower women and help women to appreciate themselves. And he's just trying, he has a page in Facebook, and he's trying to, in addition of Facebook, he's trying to do something. So maybe he was talking to Freddie. So he believes, he's impressed with the work that Freddie and Dawn have done here at the studio and learning about the programs. And we're watching some of the shows of the Brooklyn Cafe. So he's very impressed what you're doing here. And he's trying to see, okay, he wants to invite some women that need help or they want to start a business and so on. So he's like aligned with the same purpose of the Brooklyn Cafe
Amazing.
and Fuego. Yes.
We
I
would
was
love that.
impressed with the fact that that's a male he's trying to empower females.
He said he's a professor in Cuba.
He was a professor in Cuba, and he continues his march to do things in the women empowerment. So it's interesting that you selected him. I guess you did it on purpose today,
Because it's el Día de la Mujer.
right?
So el Día de la Mujer, right? International Women's Day today. And he's passionate about it. So when I met him, he's like, I'm special just because his purpose is to empower women. And even though today, we feel like we might have the same rights or like anybody else. However, there's still a lot behind doors and there's still other
still a lot.
countries
Yep.
and there's still part of America that, a lot of the ladies don't feel that they have the freedom to be who they really are.
So I hope that every day we get to give you a little more of a glimpse into the freedoms and the opportunities, ladies, that you can take forward. And I say all the time, even if you are not a solopreneur, if you are not in corporate America, if you are home raising your children, the most difficult job ever,
Yes.
whatever you're doing, it is the day to step into your power and do what you are passionate about, whatever that is. And we'd love to be able to share a little bit of that information nationally and internationally now, thanks to Roku.
Thanks to Roku.
Why don't we take a commercial break? When we come back, we've got some great ladies for you to meet. We've got Susan Howell, we've got Natalia Kochak with us, and Melanie's going to be joining us virtually, and then we've got another photographer coming in. So a lot of great things happening here. Give us a call or any questions, 888-994-4995, Studio A. Say hey to our board op. We got Slick and Alyssa on the board. We've got Audrey over here. Audrey's going to she's going to share her story because she is simply amazing. And we've never had a student from Kaiser before. And Audrey is our first student from Kaiser University, so welcome joining us. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Once a professional musician, artist Stevens Wern uses his creativity through multimedia artistic expression. His compositions use acrylic paint to create 3D masterpieces. Stevens' fascination with brilliant colors and intriguing patterns with jewels and rhinestones entices the eye with color and dimension. For more information on the artwork of Stevens Wern, contact Steven at 914-656-9060 or StevensWern, ZWIRN.com.
Justin Mooney is special counsel of the Florida office of Hinman, Howard & Cattell Attorneys. Justin's practice focuses on tax, estate planning, guardianship, probate, and trust administration. His passion is to provide clients with sophisticated estate plans which carry out their wishes, reduce any potential taxes, and preserve wealth for future generations. The attorneys of Hinman, Howard & Cattell provide first-class legal services and have achieved a reputation for excellence for over a century, staying on the leading edge of the law. When you need representation or legal counsel, contact Justin Mooney at 561-276-1008 or jmooney@hhk.com.
Cool, calm, collected. Needing a drink to end a long day, or maybe to start your vacation right? Gubba Rum is here to let you kick back and do just that. Inspired by a technique that dates back to the 1800s, these artisanal, organic, and naturally infused rums are made from pure cane and the finest fruits, spices, and herbs the world has to offer. Gubba Silver is infused with naturally shredded coconut, and Gubba Gold is infused with real vanilla bean. Simply shake and enjoy. Visit gubbarum.com to find the nearest location to buy or enjoy. All establishments have personally reviewed and enjoyed firsthand the wicked smoothness of Gubba Rum. 35% ABV and 70 proof. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
Have you been injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or through the negligence of another? The lawyers at Shane M. Farnsworth, PA have over 40 years of combined experience representing injured individuals and their families. Call us today at 561-272-8337 for a free case evaluation and the answers to your legal questions. Were you injured in an accident that wasn't your fault? Don't let the insurance companies take advantage of you. Contact us now to learn about your options and to protect your rights.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I'd like to break the gender bias in women by celebrating empowerment in their careers.
Everyone has unconscious bias. I just want to be aware of that and to break it whenever it comes up. Break the bias.
Young career women who have young kids or having babies don't want to develop or lean in their careers. Break the bias.
Break the bias.
Break the bias.
You know, growing up, I never realized there was a gender bias. I never realized that there was an inequality between men and women. It never entered my mind, never thought about it. I thought going forward I am just like everybody else. Imagine my dismay.
Not my sister.
When I was 50 years old, I realized, oh, really? People are going to treat me like that?
My sister used to say, why isn't he washing the kitchen? Why isn't he doing the dishes? Why isn't he cooking? And she was pointing at me because my bigger brother was a lot bigger than her.
Interesting, right?
At
I never
me.
thought about it.
Oh, I got beat up pretty good.
I've got a lot of great, but in corporate America, in work, I don't know. I just never occurred to me that there wasn't anything I couldn't do.
Dawn, listen, with all due respect.
I grew up in a bubble.
You walk around in a bubble.
Pretty much. But you know what? It's not a bad place to be.
I know, but don't say you didn't realize it. It was all around you. You just didn't acknowledge it.
I did not realize that. I went to college, men and women. I lived in a dorm, men and women. I went out, men and women. It never occurred. I got it. My internship, work, whatever it was, it never dawned on me, no pun intended, that we were not considered equal
Lucky
back
either.
in the day.
right? Nobody, you never saw it either, right, Lucky?
So I want to bring over our guests today. We've got Susan Howell joining us, and we've got Natalia Kochak joining us. And let's start with Natalia, because your artwork speaks for itself as we enter International Women's Day. And thank you to Melanie Oliva for introducing us. Your artwork is amazing.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to thank you guys for inviting me on the show first. I'm so excited to be here to talk about my art and to be here for International Women's Day.
And your pieces are spectacular. I was looking at your website, and at first I was very amazed by the amount of work you do with children and murals.
Yeah, I would say that a part of my practice is teaching. I work with children, and I also teach at a college, and I consider that a part of my practice. My murals are actually, they're not for necessarily just for a visual reason, but I do them because I want to get children involved in the creation of the murals. So they help me create works that are made out of collage pieces. I actually use books to make them, so they're a little different than your normal mural, but it's very inspiring to see how it affects children and how it really broadens their minds every time I work with them.
Slick, we have some of her pieces on the board, some of the pictures that she's posted. And this is from another country that you were working with, right? And you're looking to gain some momentum to go back out.
So this work is actually not from another country.
Okay.
So you're thinking about, I've done work in Uganda, and I raised money and went there to work with children, and I created a art program there, and then that was about 10 years now. So I am working on a program now that I'm going to Tanzania with people that I had met there to work with children, hopefully in the future, and send some other artists there possibly. It's a project that I've been working on. But this work is actually in particular about my own family history. And
Audrey,
so
can you have Slick put up
it is,
Slick those murals, thanks.
So it's interesting because I grew up in New York, and I am half Ukrainian. I was very involved in that heritage growing up. It was my identity. But when I moved to the South, I moved to Alabama, and my parents are professors, and my mom's a journalist. So she started working through genealogy, and we actually found out that we were related to many people from surrounding us from the place that we lived. And so that was very shocking to all of us because we had no idea about my mother's history. We had no idea about really even my own American history because of how I had grown up. And those people were all of African American descent. So we actually reached out to some people through genealogy, and we met this woman, Paula Watley, who's a documentary filmmaker and a professor, or she's a retired professor from Howard University, and we decided to start working together and creating art together. So the work that you see is all a collaboration where you have people throughout our history that we're combining together, in which there's people who are blood related throughout all the images. So we not only are combining photos, but we're also telling stories. So as you can see in this book right here, this is called My Family Anti-Autobiography. And this is actually a Confederate woman's her autobiography that I've completely redone, and it has drawings, collages, it has writings from both me and Paula, my mother who's a journalist, her daughter who's a writer, and stories that we've heard throughout our histories and our own feelings. There's poetry, everything throughout here, and the images of the people are blood related, as I said.
So let me ask you, how far, so you're half Ukrainian?
I am half Ukrainian as well, yes.
So that's, here we sit now in the middle of this chaos, I had no idea.
Yes.
And then you find, which half, your dad or your mom?
So my dad's half Ukrainian, and my mom she's the American side.
She's the American, and then you find out that you've got African-American relationships from the South?
So yes,
in Alabama.
They're blood related. And this, to explain, is that my mother, she did not know, but she did have family members who owned enslaved people. And so that's what we're discussing. We're discussing how, you know, this history is so close to us and that it affects all of us. And I think that it is particularly important to me in a way, because there's a part of my family history that is, well, as we know now, what's been happening, that has a long history of, you know, having been under rule, and, you know, there's so many issues right now, and it's horrific what's happening. And the other half, we find that, you know, there's this history that was completely it was ignored, or you know, it was hidden because nobody wanted to talk about it. And so what's important is that we've created this group of women, and we want to talk about it, and we want to let people know that, you know, we're trying to make change, and we're trying to create something new, which is is creating a new family in a way. So this is what my work's about.
And how many years ago did you start doing this? When did you move to Alabama, which is amazing to see you in Alabama?
Yes, I grew up in New York first. So I moved to Alabama a long time ago now. So that was when I was, I'm not going to tell you my age, but that was when I was 17. And then I actually went to college in Chicago. So I went to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and I went there for my undergrad. And then later, I went for my master's. I actually started a business in between. So I started a decorative painting company, which is interesting because we've been talking about finance, and which is very important for artists to understand. But I decided to start working on this project actually when I went back to go get my master's in Chicago, which was in 2016. So I think it was about 2017, the middle of my master's, that I decided to start, delving into this history, and then thinking about, creating work from it.
So how has that been for your family to uncover this history?
Well, it's been emotional. In the beginning, it was very emotional. There's been cycles, I guess you would say, of working together. We're very excited to be working together. We have a lot of things that we would like to be working on. Of course, we're trying to find grant funding and all sorts of things to make that happen. But, it's something that I think we're all very passionate about. And even if there's times in between where we're working on other things, nobody has forgotten it. And we all want to work on it.
You hear stories all the time, and Oprah would always do specials on women called yellow, or women of color who didn't know, and you look at you and you would never think in a million years, right?
I'm white, 100%. So
but family members, that relations.
My Paula's family would be, yes, because we're blood related. So like, as I said, there was somebody within that family who.
But growing up and being half Ukrainian, half American New York, this was never part of your genealogy tree that you went, oh, I got this.
No.
So this is a whole change of what probably you thought life was going to look at, like even as an artist.
Yes. No, I never thought about any of that. What I could say is that I've always cared about having a practice that I engage with community. And when I was in undergrad, I actually had a moment where I thought, as an artist, like, maybe I shouldn't be an artist because I can't do anything. Like, what's this gonna do, like, for people, Is this just some self-fulfilling prophecy to be an artist But then my mom was the one who said, no, Natalia, that's your gift, and there's so much you can do with it. So, I've always been really involved in the community, and always just really, really wanted to make a difference however I can. And, that might just be minimally changing the mind of a child so that they know that they can have a future doing whatever they want. But that's
and
why
all
I'm an
of
artist.
these pieces are drawn, painted, collaged.
So, yes. So I do mixtures of work. I would say everything I do has a collage element, but they're drawings. These are all hand-drawn. They're collaged. I do very large-scale paintings, but they also have some sort of a collage element to it. I do collage is 100% from from photos and you know, they have a drawing element as well. And these are in my books.
How large is large?
Oh, I do very large. So when like I have canvas pieces that are like 10 foot by like 14 foot.
Wow.
And then, like I said, I do these murals that are actually collage based, and those are, I think the largest one I've done so far was, I think, 15 feet high by 12 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine documenting your family's history with the collage and taking pictures that your sister has and your parents had and you had, and then putting this together and adding painting or background or a scene behind it to bring this all together?
What I admire is the bravery of bringing it forward, because I told you when I went to Puerto Rico when my mother died, they gave me a whole history of my family that I didn't know. We were in the slave trade, my forefathers. I didn't know that. That's what broke up the Santori family in half, because one brother said no and the other one said yes. And I didn't know any of that. There's a whole bunch of Santoris out west and in Mexico and stuff that I don't know. And because of Facebook and social media, they say, I'm your cousin, I'm this, you know, once removed, twice, whatever the hell it is. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. So Juji was the one that told me, hey,
Wow.
you wanna read this? It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing to find out what happened. And a lot of people are denying it, and they go, you know, I'm not gonna bother with it, but here you are bringing it forward, which I commend you.
Yeah, it's, I think it's important, and I think something that people also don't even think about is that, you know, Paula was looking for us, and she gave me the permission. She gave me these photos, but she was actually looking for us because she was trying to document her family history, and she hit a roadblock because she needed to talk to people like us who were willing to talk to her so she could find her history, and that's what's important about it. You know, on the other side of the family, talking about the Ukrainian side as well, it was I mean, I'm 100% American, you know, it was my grandparents and my great-grandparents who came over together. So my father, you know, he grew up in an area that was fully Ukrainian. And then I grew up in Yonkers in a place that was, I mean, my traditions where I went to Byzantine Catholic school, it was very much a place where I always realized that I was, you know, that was my heritage.
What school did you go to in Yonkers?
Okay, so I was very young, and then I moved to Westchester County. So I actually went to St. Patrick's in Yorktown Heights, New York. I'm like, where was I in my thoughts? But so something that I have always been interested in too is that that family was completely cut off. So, you know, because of communism, and so that family is extremely small, my dad's family. So I've been interested. He just did genealogy tests, and then I have a friend who's from Ukraine, Liliana, who we had an interesting thought about a talk where she was from the same town that my dad's family's from, and so she was like, "Oh, your family's still there." So, you know, I had no idea because so many incidents happened, you know, the Holodomor and then all of these things. So there's a lot to delve into when you're looking into your family history that is very important to who we are. And, you know, that's what I find interesting.
So as you sit here as a free American,
Yes.
this goes back to my question of what you said. Do you feel guilty or as an opportunity to dive into your family history?
Oh, no, I don't feel guilty at all. I feel very lucky and very, very happy. And I remember that every single day, every time I love to travel. I love to go other places, but I am very proud to be an American and very, very happy to know my heritage and to research it and understand.
Your heritage is amazing. So has your dad or your grandparents, have they reached out back to anyone in the Ukraine?
Well, my grandfather, when he passed away, but before he passed away, he went to Ukraine. And as of right now, my dad just got the genealogy test. So no, we have not reached out to anybody yet.
Wow.
Yes.
And your friend, does she have family there right now?
She does.
And
yes.
how are they faring?
Well, her parents are here, thank goodness. But I know she has other family there, and so I've heard some stories, but I haven't, I don't know. And I have some other friends too that I've heard stories, and it's awful, and I wish
You have a
everybody
lot
well.
going on. You got a lot of stories, a lot of information. Wow. What opportunity you have to bring culture forward through your art.
Thank you. I think I'm a storyteller.
And also you do painting and faux painting, and you will paint
So on my
plaster painting and all of these things we talked about. I think I'm going to hire her to come redo my house.
Yeah.
But that's on a whole nother side note.
yeah, there's my art, and then there's my business. So I do have a decorative painting company, and I am launching a wallpaper design business, and a lot of that is also even like sort of community work in a way, because I just really want artists to be able to make a living.
We talk about
So
that
I
all
think
the
it's
time,
so
right?
important, and so and I teach college too. Like I said, I'm an adjunct professor. So, and I didn't decide to do that till way later after, I went back to graduate school like years after graduating, because I really wanted to teach what I know, and that's what my dad did, and so
She does a lot.
I'm surprised she has time to paint.
I know. I do artist residencies and travel so that I make time to paint every
Do you
year.
sell this artwork, or this is more for you, and then your decorative painting is the financial side of what you do?
So I sell my artwork, but I do not sell it to make a living, I would say. I have a decorative painting company, and like I said, I'm launching this wallpaper design. That is the way that I make money. I consider my art to be more about a deeper practice, I guess. So of course I sell it, and I am having I'm working on solo shows for next year, but it has more of a meaning rather than it being my primary resource of making a living. Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Now, if you buy any of the paintings that are supposed to be in the show next year, there's an agreement in place that you bring it back for the show.
Yes.
And she'll sign it on the back or
Okay.
something as a thank you. I've done that with some other artists in my life as well, which is outstanding that people can still buy it, enjoy it, put it on display, and then get it back.
Thank you. Yeah.
What is your website for people to learn more about you, how to reach you?
So my artist website is nataliakochak.com. And then I also have my business website. That's nataliakochakdesignstudio.com. So if you put my name in, you'll probably get both.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. Everything is spectacular. When we come back, we always talk about the financial side of art and artists, and here she sits. And of course, we've got Money Maestra joining us. So we've got Susan
Important
Howell,
segment.
the
for
money side
artists.
of it. I'm sorry.
Important segment for
Very
artists.
important. We talk
'Cause
about this all the time.
We talk about artists have to learn how to be business people because they're so entwined in the paints and stuff, they forget that there's a business side to what they do.
And funny that you should say that, because our
Very
newsletter
funny.
just went out today for our March Merch Madness. 10% off everything in our merch store as far as cafe, and then 20% off going through Amy Reshevsky and Jay Harmon. Everything else is open for discussion. The artists just want their pieces to find a new home because they've got a lot more to be bringing in.
And congratulations to Jay Harmon. I don't know why you picked the male, but okay.
Spotlight Artist of the Month. Because you know what? Jay does so much for
does.
us, and he does so much for women empowerment, that I said this morning, we can only be empowered as we can be empowered, but it takes all the men in the village that support us
True that.
to treat us as well. And Jay Harmon has been with us every step of the way.
Yes, he has.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Amy Reshevsky can help you choose the right piece that will add some magic to your space. Amy Reshevsky has a wide range of art, from abstracts to mosaic tapestries, and she paints on different surfaces, such as reverse painting on glass, tables, wall hangings, and sculptures. Her work can be ordered online at amyreshevsky.com, or you can come in and see it in real time at the Brooklyn Cafe Art Gallery. She also does commission work, so if you have an idea in mind, she can make it a reality. She invites you to reach out to her at Facebook or at email at amyreshevsky@gmail.com. That's amyreshevsky@gmail.com. Have an artful day. Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
Breathing through my troubles, trying to be smart, living with another, passion in my heart, partners come and go, always with a twirl.
Providing music you will enjoy. JM Production performers will brighten up your stage. Condominiums and residential communities, nightclubs and restaurants that want to provide top quality singers and entertainers for their social events, banquets, celebrations, and their customers use JM Productions to ensure that they have an uplifting and beautiful event. Now, tune in for the show.
Welcome to Sunshine Senior Solutions, a trusted medical supply company that puts patients first, offering quality home medical equipment and supplies. Sunshine Senior Solutions is here to help simplify the lives of patients, caregivers, and their families. From canes and crutches to diabetic glucose monitors, your health, safety, and comfort is our #1 priority. Call or visit our website, Sunshine Senior Solutions, bringing the heart back to healthcare.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
And we're back on March 8th. It is International Women's Day. You forgot it, right?
Yeah, I'm moving around. It's just,
He's moving around. He's thinking
You
about
caught
it.
me last minute.
No, but I can, you can still.
We'll cue it up the next time. All
Okay.
right.
You
We got a
let me
piece
know
that
when
we're
you're
playing
ready.
in 30-second increments about International Women's Day. What is it? Break the bias. And I have to ask the ladies while they're queuing this up, did you ever feel there was a gender bias growing up?
Here and there.
You did?
Here and there.
Natalia, you did?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, not really as a child, but later on when I started working in the building industry.
Which, again, predominantly male industry.
Yeah.
Slick, do you have that piece? All right, let's see.
I would like to eliminate the angry black woman bias.
I would like to break the diversity bias in technology. Break the bias.
For me, it's the bias that mothers cannot commit fully to a career and a company because of being mothers.
I want to see the messages on children's clothing changed. Little girls can also be adventurers, heroes, legends, and little boys can also be kind, optimistic, and grateful. Break the bias.
We talk about important issues. Break the bias. Really interesting. Children's clothing and little girls in all their little dresses, wanting to make them active wear things I never really thought about.
My father was in the construction business, the paint business and stuff. And I remember when we were in New York, there was a group of women, came from Greece, and they got into the business. And I gotta tell you, man, they were good. They were better than anything we ever seen. And my father had Italians and stuff, old school, and they did, and even they would say, wow. And these were tough. I mean, they had to redo construction, houses, sheetrocking, the whole nine. And they did it. I don't know what happened to that group. I think that there was too much work for them because it was like a oddity to see all these women come out. They have some things like that now with their old women.
Well,
businesses.
wasn't it a woman own construction company because her husband passed away as they were building the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes.
He passed away, and when they opened it, she took it over as her company. She actually completed it as a woman-owned
it.
construction company and the Brooklyn Bridge.
And it's funny because when you tell that story, people will look it up to believe it. If I tell you a guy finished it, they wouldn't look it up at all. It's like when we talked about going to the moon, the movie, those 5 women.
4 more women getting us back out there.
And now also, I just heard that the Mets hired the first woman to be a vice president or the president of the organization, much like you guys have with the Miami Marlins. But she's bigger here in Miami. But the Mets did it. And I got to tell you, in New York, that's like unheard of.
But you know what? There's still diversity and inequality, I think, as far as the pay scale. And that is what everybody's saying. And we always say that our past is our past and we should forget it to be where we are. But I think we come to a lot of financial, emotional decisions based on our past. And maybe it's our childhood, maybe it's how we saw our parents dealing with money, if our fathers paid the bills, how our mothers reacted, or vice versa. What was the financial climate and culture in your home? And it's breaking those stressful situations of, oh my gosh, do I owe the IRS? Are my taxes due? Do I have enough money to pay the water bill? And we carry that into adulthood unless some grace of God, we're so financially independent that we don't have to think about it. But most of us are not. Most of us are living paycheck to paycheck, even more now. And it's those fears of money that I think keep us from growing and doing what really is our purpose, because you're always worried about that bill and maybe not growing your full passion and your purpose. So I'm glad that we've got Natalia talking about the artist side of it, but we've got Susan Howell joining us talking about the financial side of it. And you have an amazing story that your background was predominantly in a male world. I'm going to let you share that story. And she is now offering workshops for women and creating new workshops for women who are doing this as a single household now. So I'm excited to get into this. So welcome, Susan.
Thank you so much. And just like Natalia, I want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity on International Women's Day. It is, I'm full of gratitude to be here today and talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, empowering everyone, but in particular, women around money matters.
And I was telling Susan over the weekend how many years it has eluded me to try to find someone to come forward and talk about finances, because every woman that we meet has compliance issues as investment. And because you do it a little bit differently, you are not telling anyone to buy, sell, trade. This is more for educational purposes. She was more than happy to come and share.
Yes, that's true. You know, I tell people I'm not a financial planner, I'm not an attorney or an accountant, and I'm definitely not going to invest your money. What I'm going to help you do is work on that money story that's playing in your head that might not be serving you, and I'm also going to get you on point with your money, because when we can get our money situation under control so that money works for us, it gets rid of that stress, the fear, the worry, what you were talking about of living paycheck to paycheck, and then it creates this space, opportunity, and freedom, and then you can start to follow your passion, your purpose, because money and passion and purpose do not need to be mutually exclusive.
Now, how did you get into where you are in the field? You have a background, a money story of growing up.
I do, and you know, I wanted to thank Natalia for bringing up the stories, because I think the stories behind all of us are so important and so telling. And I grew up in a household where, you know, we did not have money, we were poor. We lived in a pretty dilapidated duplex that was given to my mother by her parents, or half of it was given to my mother. And my father was the only one that worked. My mother did not work. She did not drive. Very domineering father, issue with alcohol, spent a lot of money on alcohol. And what I remember as a child is my father coming home on Fridays and literally counting out, back then everything was cash, you know, counting out bills to my mother and basically telling her, make it last. And it was her duty to, you know, buy the food, pay the bills. I can remember my mom literally walking to Sears to hand pay our electric bill. I mean, or I think it was the electric bill, but it was basically she had no power because she had no money of her own and was totally dependent on my father. And I vowed, I don't know, maybe 10, 11, 12, that like, it's never gonna be me, and I'm gonna rewrite my story. And I rewrote my story.
And then going forward, you really rewrote your story.
I did.
And you had a career in finance, somewhat, I guess, and money.
Yes, I did. I started, my first job was a paralegal with a state attorney's office, which is where I met my now ex-husband. But then I quickly started working for the IRS, and I was a tax collector. So I learned a lot about money and what happens when you don't pay your taxes, when you don't get your money under control. And it doesn't always matter whether you have a lot of money or a little money. Money situations can get out of control quickly. And then I left the civil side of the IRS, and I became a special agent for the IRS for 2 years, and then I transferred to the Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General, as a special agent, and then a senior special agent. I worked there for 20 years in a, probably 80-20, 85-15 dominated male field, and worked a lot of financial crime cases, and again, saw how money can really complicate life, and it infuses everything, including crimes.
Where were you working these jobs, in New York?
No, my whole career was here in Miami.
Oh, in Miami.
Yeah.
So you had a very colorful career. I mean, you saw a lot.
Yes.
Right? If we're talking 80s, 90s.
Yes.
Miami was the hub of Miami Vice era, is all I can say.
Yeah, I became a special agent in 1995, and I worked narcotics. I was on loan to the DEA from, 1999 when I was pregnant. My son Will had a lot of stories happening when I was pregnant with him. From 99 to maybe for 3.5, 4 years, I was working with the DEA, and literally life was like an episode of Miami Vice on a regular basis.
Yeah, it was cocaine. Those were the cocaine cowboy days, wasn't it?
Well, it was after the cocaine cowboy days, but cocaine is always prevalent in Miami. But it was also heroin and methamphetamines were really big. And we worked a lot of pill cases. That took me to Spain. I went to Haiti on cases, and it was a exciting career and a dangerous career.
So how do you think that background led you to now empowering women to help them set budgets, change the mindset from scarcity to abundance? And do you really think that mindset makes a difference?
Yeah. One, I'm going to say, and I'll go into it a little bit more, but the mindset absolutely makes a difference, because what we tell ourselves, what we think about money, is how money is going to show up in our life. If we say, I'm broke, I'm always going to be broke, I never get ahead of myself, I live paycheck to paycheck, self-fulfilling prophecy, because it starts here. It always starts here. And so I work on money mindset as probably one of the first things I do with my clients. I teach workshops, and I present, I do lunch and learns, but I also have one-on-one clients, and I do a lot of one-on-one money coaching, and we work on money mindset right from the beginning. But I think, I had the great opportunity to have a very secure job in the federal government that paid well. Agents, because our job was dangerous, we got paid well on the federal government level. And I started investing when I was 23 years old, and that changed the course of my life monetarily. And every time I got a raise, I'd take a chunk of that raise and I'd put it to investments, and it became so automatic. I didn't even know what it was like to live on that extra money, because I went straight to investments. And I retired at 50 and was able to now create Money Maestra, live my dream, and be financially secure and financially free.
You talk about budgets, and I have to tell you, for me, I must have a major money story in my childhood that I don't even know what it is, but clearly the thought of a budget to me makes me sick to my stomach, because maybe I'm the only one, I don't know. And I remember when I was first married at 22, the accountant would say to me, and it was before Quicken, and I would write down our expenses and turn in our taxes. Rent, $600. I mean, my taxes were about this big. I had tax, electric, water. I didn't even have water because it was a rental. And even that made me sick. And he'd say, all right, you need to budget for your car, for your this. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, what that even looks like. What if there's not enough money, but I still want to do that? He says, then you don't. I said, then I'm not going to make a budget. Honest to goodness. And I don't think I've made a budget to this day, because what if I can't keep it? And you're laughing.
I am laughing. Because
what if you want to go out for dinner and you don't have the money? Well, that would be what a credit card was for, which is why we all get in trouble on credit cards. She's laughing. Is that wrong?
I'm not.
Because there's so many people. I can't even say women. I would venture to say there are a lot of men like me
yes,
also.
There are. There are. And so
she's still laughing.
I'm not laughing.
So is my mother and father probably right now.
I'm laughing with you because I get this all the time. Like, I don't want to budget because it's boring. I'm not good at math. If I budget, then I'm really going to know. And I go, wait, stop there. That's the key. If you budget, you're really going to know. And what I tell people is your situation is your situation, whether you choose to have eyes wide open or whether you choose to put your head in the sand about it, but it's still going to be there. And the problem is if you don't look at it and you don't budget, then then the chaos starts to set in. And what I try to do is I tell people we're going to start where you are right now as you are. I have my clients fill out a detailed financial form, and I say, I want to know everything. I don't, we sign a confidentiality agreement. I don't want you to hide anything from me because I have to know where you are, and don't be ashamed. And I think what happens is a lot of people have shame
Susan, just bring
attached to
your mic
money
closer.
issues.
Bring your mic closer.
Have shame attached to money issues, and there shouldn't be any shame because wherever we are is where we are. But a budget, if you don't know what's coming in and what's going out and you're not tracking it, there's no way you can keep control of your money no matter how much money you make, whether you make a little or a lot. And the thing is, and I tell people this, there's magic in a budget. And I just had a client last night that said to me, Susan, I'm finally getting it. It's a process. And I told her, you're not going to get it immediately. But when you do the budget and you work the budget and we work together, ultimately it's going to click. And then what it does is it creates not only more money in your life, it lets you direct where you want your money to go. Do you want to save for a house? Do you want to save for retirement? And it creates space and freedom. 100%.
But what if you want to go out Saturday night with your friends?
Okay.
And then you got to pay for your kids'
Then you budget it.
textbooks.
Then
you put it in your budget.
Yeah, you budget it. So what I do is I have an entertainment expense. I literally line item all my expenses. And so say I really want to go to an event, but it's not necessarily in my budget. If I know where all my money is allocated, then I can say, you know what? Maybe I won't be so generous with the groceries because sometimes I go over the top on groceries. So I'll take a little money out of my grocery budget and I'll throw it in my going out budget and I'm still in balance. But you have to look at it because if you don't look at the money, ultimately it's going to come to debt. And I tell people, all my clients, you have to get really comfortable with something called paying yourself first, which means before I go out, before I buy the shoes, before I take the trip I can't afford, I'm going to put some money away for me in an emergency fund, in an investment fund, and in a retirement fund. And I tell people, I don't care if it's $25, but you've got to get into the mode of paying yourself first. It is key to ultimate financial security and financial freedom.
And then I think about the conversations you have to have with your partner, your
That's
spouse,
what I
your
was gonna bring
significant
up.
other.
That changes the
And I
equation.
always say that most fighting, I think, is over money and sex.
In that order.
100%.
Or sex and money, because you're
No,
not going to
not in
have
that
sex. If you're
order.
in debt, you do not want to have sex. Sorry. Maybe it's just an over 50 thing. I say what I think. But right, when you're younger, you don't think of those two things. But as you get older in your relationship, your responsibilities grow. Your children, your grandchildren, college. The pressure of not having the money trickles into everything. You don't feel loving or sexy. There's resentment both ways. The conversation, did you get paid? Why is your check less? Did you get paid? Why are you laid off? All of these stresses add to the change in the money story, yes?
100%. And one of the things that I think is the best thing, and I also counsel couples, and it's amazing because in the end they tell me, like, you're like our therapist, Susan, because it's so much is tied around money, and I'll agree with you, money and sex, and they are linked. And what happens is, money becomes one of the things I teach is money's not positive, money's not negative, it's a neutral, but we put the charge behind it, and we really do. And what happens is, people get these like gut clenching feelings when they want to talk to their spouse or their kids or their family about money, and it's because for so long, especially as women, we've been taught money's taboo, it's not polite to talk about money, we never talk about money. And this is what I say: let's talk about money. Ladies, everyone, husbands, wives, bring it to the table. And it doesn't have to be, I talk about money with everybody in my life. And I'm really comfortable with it, even though obviously this is what I do for a business. But it's one of the things I teach my clients. It's one of the things, right now I have a workshop, Women, Money, and Relationships. And one of the key things we're working on is how do I communicate about money with the people in my life? And I have tips. one, be wholehearted. Don't bring your issues to the table. Don't bring your judgment to the table. Don't bring your shame to the table. Meet each other wholehearted. Don't lie. Don't hide things. Be honest. And I'll give a third tip. It's deeper than this, but 3 tips. And the third one would be listen wholeheartedly. Listen actively. Don't try to answer the question before your partner finishes saying what they say, and leave the judgment aside. And, there's more to it, but even if you just stick with being wholehearted, being honest, having no ulterior motives, and actively listen, you can accomplish so much.
But what if situations change? And with COVID, I think this is the perfect conversation to have. Your spouse may not be making the money that they used to make. Where they used to pay for A, B, C, they can only pay for A. But you used to pay for B and C.
Right.
I don't want this situation to change, but financially it has to. How do we have these sincere money conversations that people are now going through?
Well, I think for me, one of the things, it all starts with love. If you love the person you're talking to, whatever the situation is, a husband, wife, a partner, kids, it starts with you're in this relationship because there's a basis of love and wanting to be together, so you work together as a team. And I think there's so much to be said for teamwork. And this whole notion, I'm a fiercely independent woman, so this whole notion for me, watching it in my household growing up where the woman is dependent on the man, it's not something that is the way I live my life. But even in I don't even like to say traditional, because I don't think that's traditional anymore, but even in that sort of relationship where maybe the man is making more money or the husband is, the woman is at home raising the kids. That's a job. That's a job. But if, say, the man does not make enough money to sustain the household, then maybe the woman needs to get a side hustle. Maybe they have to work together as a team to find a way. I think it's a bad formula to say all the money responsible falls on one partner, whether it's the woman or the man. I think there has to be a meeting of minds and sometimes a meeting of pocketbooks. And if you talk about budgeting as a couple, then it becomes a team effort. And I highly advise couples to budget together. It doesn't matter if you want to have 2 separate accounts and one joint house account, or you want to put everything in one account, but talk about it together, budget together, and be on the same page, and be willing to make, you've got to be flexible. You have to be flexible in relationships.
I got a question. To me, and they'll tell you, marriage is a business. It doesn't start out that way, because everybody's like, oh, I love you. Oh, you walk on water. All of that. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And if you can't talk money, then don't get married. That's all I say. If you can't do business with the person that you're going to do for the next 60 years, how long your parents been married? Mine were married 66 years, 67 years.
66 years is going to be.
67. And my father said to me, I told your mother, we're going to do it one of 2 ways. You're going to do it your way, or we're going to do it my way. And that's how his translation was. If you can't talk business with the person you're going to marry, this ain't for you. You could be friends. You could go hang. You could do whatever. But marriage is expensive.
Yep.
Kids are very expensive. And then, you set that budget out. You know what used to frustrate me? I had some money on the side. And Freddie's going dancing tonight because I had a little budget. And then the car breaks down, man. And you got to go. You got to have your wheels, right? So all of a sudden, you have to make adaptation. You have to make adjustments. It's like anything else in life. And if you can't talk finances with the person you're going to be married to or are married to, you better call her in a heartbeat. Because that is the secret, especially under the pressures we are under today.
These conversations keep going. I want to give out your website before we go to commercial break.
Okay, it's Money Maestra, and that's teacher in Spanish, moneymaestra.com.
Tú eres Latina.
I am not Latina, but yo hablo español. Y vivía en Miami muchos
Money
años.
Maestra came from where?
And Money Maestra, I liked the alliteration, and I wanted to celebrate Miami. And I love that Maestra is like a female
Teacher.
maestro. So that's how I got Money Maestra.
There's a lot.
She's earned the name Missy. In Puerto Rico, we used to call teachers, Spanish teachers, females, Missy.
A whole lot of information, and there's so much more to do. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we've got Deb. Deb, pronounce your last name for me? Whiteside. I remember you said it was like eyesight. Deb Whiteside joining us without baby today. So no babies today. Talk about her photography. We have some of her images to show also. And then I think we've got Melanie joining us online, so we got to check that also. So a lot of things still happening on this March 8th, International Women's Day. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Mini Donut World, where the donuts are hot, fresh, and delicious, made to order and customizable by you. Gourmet specialty flavors such as apple pie, French toast, campfire, and strawberry cheesecake are always popular. Looking to tailor your appetite? Build your own mini donut. Choose from over 18 flavor donut bases, add on your icing flavor, and choose from over 15 toppings and drizzles. While kids enjoy our design your own kits to take home, our 21 and over customers love our alcohol-infused donuts. Come visit Mini Donut World at 8763 Sterling Road in Cooper City. Have questions or want to place an order? Give us a call at 954-369-2301. We know you will love each bite of our deliciously distinctive mini donuts.
Attention Florida residents. Is constant water damage from the elements putting holes in your pipes and your wallet? We cut the cost when disaster strikes. You deserve to have your house be a home again. At Triumph, we get you paid the most for your insurance claims. Broken pipes, water damage, and mold? Triumph Consulting covers it all. Call our offices now to qualify for a free house inspection at 954-669-4935 or visit www.wegetYouPaid.com.
Do you need a strong cup of coffee to get you through your day? Try your very own Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee, the official coffee of the Brooklyn Cafe Show. You can pick up a bag from us, or two. Contact us at 866-224-5422, or just stop on by. We're at 2400 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard, Suite 13. Come on in, grab a bag of our signature Brooklyn Cafe coffee. The cafe doors are always open.
Here at the Brooklyn Cafe, our subjects range from hot topics, feel-good stories, and back-in-the-day nostalgia. With guest personalities and business features, you just never know who you'll see on the show. With our brew crew on set, we always air live to inspire, educate, and create. Make it a date and have a day at the cafe. Join Dawn and Freddie every weekday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. and for lunch every weekday from 12 to 2. Amplify your voice. Call us at 866-224-5422 or visit our website at brooklyncafe.tv.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Well, we need to change that and prove that women have as much as technical and logical skills to resolve any issue. Let's break the bias.
All the biases involved in the recruitment processes. Specifically, that companies start to hire talent based on the ability and the capabilities that they've actually got for the future, not based on what they've done in the past. Breaking the bias.
Working mothers needing to choose between their children and their work, they can love both equally as much. So, break the bias. Not all.
So I offer the pizza.
Perfect.
And we're back.
And
I
we're
gotta
back.
tell you, I wish I had known her in the day.
Slick, is Melanie on? All right.
If I had known Susan in the day. Because, you know, you don't want to get into a relationship and then my mind is always business. You know that.
I never thought it, well, I did think about it. I thought he will be a good provider. He made all of the napkin checklists of what I was looking for. I mean,
Napkin checklist.
Yes. There's a checklist. As the Jewish girl growing up in Fort Lauderdale, going
Women
to
have the
University of
book,
Miami,
yes.
there was a checklist. Religion, money, potential, nice car, no Velcro wallet. 5 things. The no Velcro wallet he did
The
not
no
have.
what?
That
No
was
what?
the game
The
changer.
no what?
No Velcro. I
No
can't
Velcro what?
stand the noise of the Velcro wallet. Now remember, this was back in the 80s.
Yes, I had Velcro wallet.
Well, I didn't date you back in the 80s.
No, I know that. My second ex-wife said to me, I'm going to stay home and raise the kids. No problem. She lasted 2 weeks, and she was going cuckoo bananas. I says, you got to go get a job. So she went and she got a job, forcing me to find other ways of making a living. I got into the real estate business, and I owned buildings. So Freddie had time to stay home, right? I had people cleaning the buildings and all that. So I raised kids. So I got bored. So I got into sports. Then she gets mad at me because I'm having fun. And she's going to work 9 to 5. And here we go, the conversation again. She brought home $2,000. I brought home $11,000 a week. It was part of what I did. So I would say to her, here. It's not my money, it's our money. Bad move. I didn't pay me. I didn't take care of Freddie. So when this thing goes upside down and goes belly up, what do you think happens? Every attorney in the world comes down. Oh, we got to take half of that. It's mine. Really?
He is very passionate about this, can you tell?
That's why I tell Slick, don't get married unless you can talk finance. I'm telling you. They were talking about prenuptial agreements the other day. And they're millennials. And I'm like, what the hell? And
It was Bree, right? Bree's like, I'm not getting married till Slick signs a prenup. They're not even dating, which is even funnier.
it's a mock wedding that we're doing at the Movies of Del Rey. And she said, not even mock. It's not even fooling around. You got to sign a prenup. But the bottom line is you got to take care of you. And if the other person you're with doesn't agree with that, then you have a bigger problem facing you down the road than anything else.
So we've got Deb Whiteside joining us, and she is a longtime friend of the studio. Look at these beautiful pictures she brought in. And her lovely, she didn't bring the baby with her.
No baby. Where's the baby?
No baby today.
Baby's home with my mom and dad.
But she also just told me that she hired a business coach to help keep home life home and business growing, because I think
she needs one.
You are the primary breadwinner in this situation, yes?
Yes, absolutely. With my husband's Alzheimer's, we've been married 40 years. In May this year, it'll be 40 years, and he was always the primary breadwinner. He handled all the money. My job, and I did it with my photography, was to go out and make the money, bring it home, give it to him, and then he took care of everything. And as far as I was concerned, that worked for me. It freed me up to work my business. I was happy doing it, and I hate money, and I hate numbers, and it worked. And then he got sick. And in the last couple of years, it's been all me. I'm doing 100% of the income. I have to do the books. I have to deal with everything, pay the bills. And it's been a huge learning curve. And I actually love sitting here listening to what was just being said about budgeting, because I actually need that kick in the pants that I just heard.
Everybody needs it, but no one knows what to do about it or how to address
Or
it.
attach themselves to it.
Yep.
Do you recall running the finances in your house?
Yes.
You do it.
Yes.
And Chuck has no problem with that.
He does he do more of it now? A little bit more, because Quicken used to just give me a nervous breakdown.
Okay, so I want to ask the ladies a question, being that we're talking finance. So
We've got Melanie online too. We can just put it all for everyone
we can
up.
go to court. Yeah, hold on. Let's go to court. So the man comes in and says, you know what, I'm going to do it your way. Because when a woman fights in a marriage, I'm going to tell you, it ain't pretty. Muhammad Ali said, sting like a butterfly, float like a bee, or whatever. I'm going to tell you, it ain't pretty. So you give the money to the woman, and things go sideways. I'm not going to accuse her of messing things up, but things go sideways. So then you go in there and you try to fix it, and things get better. How do you have this conversation without hurting the other people's feelings and making the whole situation worse? Similar to what you went through, but backwards.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So let me answer that question. I think it starts with what we talked about is money infuses everything, in particular marital relationships or partner relationships, but it has to not be about the money. The money has to be the neutral. And whether, if you're truly a team, and hopefully if you're married, you're truly a team, then whether the woman's making more money or the man's making more money, if you're acting as a team, it doesn't matter. What matters is the conversations, the budgeting, and being on the same page. And I'm going to say so people feel, both partners feel like it's fair. You don't want one person bearing the burden and the other one's running around and spending all the money, or vice versa. It has to be fair, and it has to be talked about. And if we can get rid of this taboo around money, especially in marital and partner relationships, then this is going to start to go away, and we're going to start. Freddie, I agree with you. You should not enter a marriage. So many people enter marriages, and they don't know what their partner's financial situation is. That's ridiculous. You need to know that before you get married, and start having these conversations before you get married, and then bring it into the marriage as a team.
Let's go back to a
Let's go to
quad, because
question.
I want to talk.
Velcro is important. I didn't even know that was on the agenda.
It was definitely in the top
You are
5
the
of what not
funniest
to
human
marry.
being I've ever met.
Yes.
We have to stop dating because I have a Velcro
You don't
wallet.
understand how many men I stopped dating because they had a Velcro wallet.
Wow.
It was a thing. You know, it's like going out on a date and hear that.
Is that why Slick got rid of his Velcro wallet?
I'm not dating Slick
No,
either,
but
so I don't know.
he didn't want to be a bad influence.
It was a thing. Like,
Wow.
when I was 20 years old, it was like, okay, this is things you think about, things you don't think about. But when you're and I stayed home and I raised my kids for a very long time. So whether he brought it in or didn't, there were still things that had to be taken care of. And there was a whole lot of this. If the office didn't bring in money or the office was holding the check for whatever reason, there was a lot of this. And it was, what do you want me to do? Well, what do you want me to do? And it was beyond anyone's control, but there was a lot of fighting. I remember there were times that I would go to the dollar store and get food.
I lived in the dollar store. It wasn't
Raising the
even a
kids
fight.
and what
That's
it
where I
was.
was
I mean,
going.
you
Money,
know,
no money.
Couldn't afford Disney Channel when my daughter was born, so my parent, literally,
Disney.
it was $20 a month. I had no money. He was in residency. I had stopped teaching. The sacrifices you make, but those money stories stay with you,
It's
even
funny.
when you're not in that situation anymore.
You get a piece of steak and you beat it with a hammer, and it gets bigger, and you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
It's so funny. I remember my dad said, don't ever let money cause a fight, because money is round, and sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't. And when you don't, you will have it again. And they are the perfect example, my parents, of having, not having, having, not having, having.
Yeah,
But I look at all the conflicts that,
as a doctor.
all the conflicts that, but maybe that's part of my money story also, the things that you saw, the cycle of what it was. And Deb, I know, I was talking to Susan over the weekend. She's putting together a widows women workshop. Now, you're not a widow in the physical sense, but in the financial sense, you are now taking care of all this responsibility.
Yep. My husband is stage 6 Alzheimer's. He's also 22 and a half years older than me, so he's 84 now. So widowdom, widowhood, I'm not sure the word, is on the horizon. And yeah, he's, never going to make another dime. And it's all fallen on me at this point. And it's okay. I mean, we're doing it. Plus, adopting our 3 grandbabies, all 3 born addicted to drugs. The youngest is going to turn 10 months old in 3 days, and the oldest is 7.5. In the middle, there's a 2.5-year-old wild Indian. So, me being away from home, doing my work, all of that is limited by the kids. I've got to take care of the kids, and I've got to take care of my husband, and no, he can't stay home with the kids. That's not safe.
Right.
So it's a huge juggling act for me. But I got it. I mean, I got it. We're good. We'll make it, and we'll be fine. We'll be better. My $1 million in 1 year is my goal, and I'm pretty good at hitting my goals. I'll do it.
You are. Look at this pieces. You brought what's piece in. She's a photographer, and it's about giving kids dreams through photographs. And this piece is beautiful.
This is actually my oldest granddaughter, who is now my daughter. And her love is unicorns. And this was done a couple years ago. She was maybe 4, and it hangs in her room. And on like short notice, all I could do was take pictures off the wall and bring in things that I'm delivering to clients. But this is what I have, and this is what I do. Whatever their dreams are, is what I make come to life. And it's my way of empowering the kids. Having one daughter that died from addiction and another daughter in her 14th year on the street from addiction, I feel like empowering the kids and the girls in particular, but it's not just girls. It just means a lot to me. So we work a lot on bringing dreams to life, and with the older girls, what I do is really work hard at making them see themselves as I see them, as beautiful individual human beings, not somebody at school called me ugly today, or my nose needs to be fixed, when I'm standing there wishing I had that little girl's nose. And that stuff makes me so sad that I turned it around with my photography, and that's my goal in life, is to change the vision of these kids and to let them know their dreams can come true.
Well, I got to tell you, I got to applaud and tip my hat, because you have the right attitude. It ain't easy being you right now. It ain't easy, but you make it, that whole turn it around, get that sunshine thing going.
Change your perspective.
And you have me believing it's going to be all right. And when I first heard the story, I was like, you got to be kidding me. But you have me believing that you got this on the go. And again, it's embracing and saying, let's go get it done, as opposed to sitting back. There's an old saying that I used to believe in: if you're searching for money, you'll never find it. If you believe you're going to make it, it comes to you. And if you can do that, if you can understand that concept, it's going to be all right. So you got me believing.
Well, look at the amazing set we have. We have Melanie joining us. So Melanie, thank you for these amazing connections. All of these great artists trying and growing businesses out of their passion, which goes to what you're saying, right? If you believe in what you do and you're passionate, you can have a successful business. But doesn't mean we don't need some help along the way. Right? We need some money management, Natalia. Deb just hired a business coach. I know you have a one-on-one show. You've got a private showing, Melanie, and selling your art also. And Susan said she has one of your big pieces in her home that she loves.
She does. She's such a good supporter of the arts and of mine. And I'm just so happy to be on here with all of you amazing women on International Women's Day. Thank you so much, Dawn and Freddie, for having me back.
It is our absolute pleasure.
Make sure we go 4-5, turn off on 1-2.
5 and 6. So how do we?
6.
What have you learned? You've been sitting with us for almost 2 hours. Changing perspective on business in the arts, Natalia?
Well, I could use some help, honestly, with the budgeting. But I think it's really important that artists get that kind of, women and all artists get that kind of money management skills. They don't teach that in art school. They don't teach that at all. So
it's a business.
It's a business, yeah.
And you're not alone. Male, female, millennials, X's, whatever the hell it's called, everybody can use a little help right now with funding and budgeting. You told me the other day that I hate budgeting. I don't hate budgeting anymore. I can't hate budgeting. You can't make it today if you don't budget right. And if you don't, you're going to be looking upside down. Drowning is a painful death, because you see yourself actually losing your life. You don't want to go down that road, and that's what happens.
Things have changed, and the cost of things have definitely gone up. Our electric, where used to go down in the winter, not so much here. Things are leveling out, so the expenses continue.
And they will continue.
But the amazing thing that you all get to do is work with kids. And if we can change, I honestly believe, which is why we do kid shows and teen shows, and I did speak to the museum yesterday for the arts, is I feel if we can get to kids young enough, and especially the young girls, to change their money stories, to change their power stories, so when they're in their 40s, 50s, they're not scrambling going, oh, this was my money story. They are fully in power, and they step into the greatness of who they are, and they don't have, and for little boys too, because it's not now about the little boys supporting the houses when they grow up. If we're saying we're equal, then we are equally in the conversations of what we decide to do. And I think it's so important to get to the kids and change their mindsets.
Well, I never saw, what is the electric here? PSAL, whatever? What is it?
FPNL?
That people. I
Florida.
never saw, this is only for him. You both use the electric, use the water. It isn't a one-sided deal.
Sure.
And you should encourage that in your house that makes money. So if she's an artist, encourage it. Make it bigger than you. Why not? She's helping bring money into the house. Just don't forget that she's a person too. That's all. And if you can't talk finances, I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work.
Melanie, how have you been? We got to say hi to you.
Pretty good. I apologize if there's a little bit of a lag virtually. It's so good to be here. And I found what you guys are talking about so interesting today, as far as budgeting and just talking about money and relationships. I did start to recently take budgeting more seriously with my art practice. I actually kind of redid my business plan, and kind of speaking to what Susan said, I didn't really want to know before how much money I actually needed to make every month as an artist. But it makes it actually seem more attainable once I write it out. I know I need to do 2 workshops a month, a certain amount of sales, and I know how much I need to work to make those paintings to equal those sales. So I feel like just more empowered now because of a budget.
That's a good point. Sometimes you don't want to know the truth, right?
Right.
I gotta make X amount. I gotta what? I gotta who? Yes, we're about this amount short. Say who? What? What? Short. And you don't want to know the truth. You just want to go out there and get as much as you possibly can.
Right.
And then you're exhausted and then you're short because you didn't budget. Right. Budget will.
I even know having the conversations with you on the business side, you'll say, how short are we? And I'm like, we're good. No, we're not. How much are we not good? But
that's the other thing. We're good. You know what the word "we good" means? We're not.
But there's another side when you've got business partnerships to have that conversation also. Because everyone, yours, mine, and ours, right? You've got stresses on one side, I've got stress, and then now we're bringing all this extra stuff to the table as a conversation. We need a lot of you, Susan.
I'm here. I'm here to help.
Deb, I'm glad. I'm hoping this is helping you also, because your whole life has changed now that you've adopted 3 grandchildren also, because you're still in the child rearing ages of food and education and clothing and shoes as they outgrow all of these things.
It's very true. I'm lucky because the foster system, which I have access to because 2 of them were removed by DCF and I had to adopt through the foster system. The other one was a private adoption because I just took her at 6 weeks old. She wasn't safe where she was and I took her. And then dared my daughter to call DCF. Long story there. But the foster system has a lot of help, a lot of foster closets. I get a lot of things free. The baby is 10 months and I am just now buying the first diapers.
Wow.
For him because the foster closets have had diapers galore. So I've gotten clothes, I've gotten diapers, I've gotten formula. I've also learned so much about the state and what they have to offer and WIC for the kids. And, it's the state of Florida takes care of its children. It really does a good job. And it's a huge help to me. As they get older, I'm fully aware this is going to get harder. Having raised one family already, these 3 are kids number 5, 6, and 7 for us.
Wow.
Wow.
So I've done it before and I get it. I understand. My focus has got to be the business because it is just me and it is going to get harder. So that's why I hired the business coach who, I will tell you, the first thing that she wanted from me was my numbers. And I was like, oh, no. Do we have to? And she's like, call me back when you got your numbers. Mm-hmm. So I had to sit down and run all the numbers. And I don't like it, but I do now know where I stand. I know exactly what I have to charge. I know exactly what I have to shoot, what I have to sell. And I will make my goal. I can't think of a goal in my life that I haven't made. And this is not going to be the first one. And, you know, $1 million income in 1 year is my goal. Might take me a couple of years to get there, and that's okay. That's where the budget comes in. That's where the goal setting comes in. So we're good. And by the time I grow it that far, I'll be able to really take care of these kids like we used to take care of our kids. When my husband was working and I was working, and we each had separate businesses that were doing well, and, you know, not like today where I have to rely on the state and on WIC and on a business coach to get me where I need to be.
I have to tell you, all of your art, your photographs, and Melanie, your activism pieces, and Natalia, your collages and your design, they're all amazing. I buy, how many pieces do you and I buy from here all the time from the artwork?
Well, it's amazing that you can put them all under one roof on a very specific date. So that's kind of cool. And, you know, artists are magical. I can't draw stick figures. But my partner here, she will never tell you, but she's an artist. Her daughter is an artist, but Dawn doesn't show that part of what she does. Plays the piano. She won't play it. But that's her piano. We found her music in the seat. She forgot to take it out. So deny, you've played that piano.
I have.
And the bottom line here is that if you're an artist, man, let everybody know you are an artist. Stand up. And you know how if your kid says, I want to go to art school, and the parents are going to say, well, how are you going to make a living? There is ways of making a living in things that you're passionate about that you would never know.
You just have to change your story.
You just have to change your perspective.
Yes.
You can draw something and become a multimillionaire overnight by making a button, smiley face, by making a coffee bag, something, whatever. But if you're telling somebody, no, you're going to be a failure, you're just taking the wind out of their sails, man. I don't get that. Why would you do that to anybody?
Well, I don't know.
But why? Why do we do that? You know, I believe you should say, you know, you want to be an artist? Show me. Let me drink from your wine of knowledge. Here we go,
Because
Shakespeare.
notoriously being an artist is hard business side. You're not getting a guaranteed
You got to know Susan.
paycheck, right? You can be going from art fair to art fair. When you become so attached to your art, you don't want to sell it because you love it so much. They become your family, but yet you need to sell them to make money. This is just what I've been told from my daughter, who does not like to sell her artwork.
We had the violins sold, and she wouldn't
Yes.
sell them because it become her kids. I didn't know that.
So then I guess a lot of artists become teachers because it's a great way to share
Keep
your
the art.
knowledge and to bring the arts forward.
Yeah, I think that being a teacher gives some stability to it. But honestly, when you get into teaching, it takes away from the art too. So, you know, when I was in undergrad, I knew I wanted to have a business. So I actually went to school for business because in art school, I learned nothing about business. So I went to school, and then I knew I needed to find something. If I want to make art, then I am going to need to find something that I can take over, you know, myself and be able to do it. So I worked for a decorative painting company for 1 year and then just decided that was it. I'm starting my own business. So that's all I've done. And when I was in school, actually, I heard a lot of that negativity from professors too. So I heard that from teachers who said, well, you're in art school, so you must not care about money because obviously you're going to be poor. And I mean, even then I thought, I'm not going to be poor. I like money. Speak for yourself.
You just have to find another way.
Finding another way.
Yeah. Now, granted, I will say it is very hard, and I tell my students because I'm an adjunct professor, so I am full-time working for my business and doing my art. But I teach college because I love it, and I teach kids because I love it, not for money. But I went back later because I knew that was like something that needed to be told to kids, and so I tell them you better love it. You better love it so much that you will do, you know, what you need to, because you're starting a business, and then, you know, there you go. That's it.
So many things.
I've had, 2,427 jobs? But do you know why? Because people told me I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they said I couldn't, I said, okay, this job is done, and I move on to the couldn't. And when I finished that, I said, okay, this job is done, and I moved on to the couldn't. I've sold cheese, I've sold wines, I've sold countertops, I sold kitchens.
You sell Gubba. You don't sell Gubba rum, but we help promote Gubba rum so they can sell Gubba rum and vodka.
Best rum in Florida.
What do we know about the alcohol business? Luckily, we don't do
We
anything
used
with
to
it. All
drink
we
it.
do is the marketing of it. We like to drink, so we may
Yes.
as well. If you like it, then you can
That
support
part is
it,
true,
right?
except that the other part is this is woman made.
This is a woman-owned
in Florida,
distillery,
only
yes.
woman distillery in Florida. I was so proud when I met that lady. I said, whatever you want, I will do. Okay, and she's had to get a couple of jobs.
She's
just to
having a
make
hard
it-
time
she's having a hard
because
time.
she's in a man-owned business.
And they keep
and a
her out.
distribution company. Yep.
So I've been talking to women that says if you put together 10,000 women and you talk to them little by little, they can help her grow.
She's looking for investors. Yeah. If
Just
anyone
among
wants to invest
women's.
in a vodka company,
But around women, they got the cause. You know what? I'm
it's
just
a
not going to
lot.
say
Deb, do you have another piece with you that I want to make sure we spotlight?
I sure do. This is a newborn. And this, I can't, there it is.
Right there.
On a seahorse.
On a seahorse. Her nursery is just being finished, and it's in a very nautical South Florida theme with a lot of the teals. It's got a beautiful big white crib in it, and this is going over the crib.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot of times with these, I surprise the parents with these. I did the whole shoot, and then I surprise them with one of these, and they always buy it.
Of course.
So it's and I love them. It's a very big part of the creative outlet for me, is doing this. I've been shooting so long that it's easy for me. So doing this kind of different and creative stuff is just an enormous outlet. I love it.
You know, the amazing thing is we've got 3 artists on our set today, and then we've got hopefully Amy and Rosie joining us tomorrow, because so much of what we do is surrounded by women in the arts, and you're all different.
And then you put a ribbon about it, and you have Susan who will show them
Because-
how to make
right?
a living. As it's really funny. The artists, one of the reasons the artists came here from where we came from, was we said to them, "You got to be a business, and then an artist. You will always be an artist. You could grow up and make a beautiful painting no matter what, but you got to be a business person." And they bought in, and then the virus hit. Amy still did well. Jay still did well with the virus on top of us, because there was nobody coming in, so you had to sell this a different way. But you found a way, and they got done. So here we go again. And of course,
Now it's March Madness, so let's sell it all.
have you seen March Madness? This is nuts.
March Madness, let's
March
do it. March Madness. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. Ladies, stay with us. Melanie, you're good?
Yes.
All right, everyone, stay with us for a little bit. We come back, we get to wrap up this International Women's Day. We got to talk to Audrey also, because she's our international woman, all the way from Paris. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Brooklyn Cafe TV show. Whether you enjoy watching in the mornings or afternoons, you can now watch with your favorite merchandise. Choose from the Brooklyn Cafe t-shirts, ranging from sizes small to 3XL. Colors available include black, dark heather, and navy. Feeling chilly? Just check out our latest hoodie with over 9 colors to choose from. Sip on some Brooklyn Cafe coffee with Dawn and Freddie. and a matching mug as seen on set. Brooklyn hats and special seasonal items are always popping up and available upon request. To purchase, you can visit our online store at brooklyncafe.tv/shop. Happy shopping!
With enough butter, anything is good. Tori Wells from Precious Treasure Gourmet Foods thinks so, because she single-handedly updated and expanded butter's possibilities. From compound, savory, sweet, and spicy, her freshly made butters aim to please. I don't know about you, but I've never really seen butter this versatile before, and now so feasible. With online shopping, just visit PreciousTreasuresGourmetFoods.com, because at Precious Treasures, Tori is working on the best artisan gourmet foods to every table. Remember, guys, true love is like butter. There's no substitute for the real thing.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Proudly distilling out of West Palm Beach, Florida, Lost Harbor Spirits is a true treasure waiting to be discovered. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Biases are conscious and unconscious. Every time somebody says, don't cry like a girl, or girls can't code, or girls can't be in STEM, that is a bias. And I don't think we should be encouraging hiding behind the concept of it being unconscious anymore. I'd like to change that.
So the way that you think today, there is inherently bias within that thinking. So to take the opportunity to think about how you could evolve that into a better way of thinking that's going to open up your thinking to think more broadly about people, about things, and about opportunities would be just that.
Sorry, break the bias. I was mesmerized by what I was watching because so many things I don't think about that clearly so many others do about breaking the bias, the gender bias.
I'm breaking the microphone.
We're back.
bias.
We get to wrap up our International Women's Day. I love all the guests. And during commercial break, we had Audrey. She was taking some pictures because it's not often, although a lot of women will talk the talk of we all support each other. They don't all walk the walk and actually do it. And during commercial break, you all did not get to see it, but everyone was over on the sofa collaborating and talking and supporting each other. And that is what today is all about. That's what every day should be about, whether it be women, children, men and women, whatever gender you are or not. about supporting each other.
That's
And here
true.
you sit as artists, all within the same profession, still coming together and supporting each other. And to that, I only wish you guys could see the cameras rolling during commercial break, because that was really warms your heart on sometimes when it gets really tough.
Well, you worked really hard to put all the women on the set, kids also, females in here. We have female heavy except for Slick. We're female heavy on that side of the board as well. It's long overdue. And you saw in the piece that we put together, there's a lot of guys that say break the bias because we feel the same way. It isn't fair. Congratulations to the USA women's soccer team who just won a court deal that they have to get paid the same amount as males. Not only that, they're better.
But to think that they
But hold
weren't,
it,
right?
they're better. They brought home more championships than the men, and the men will say, yeah, because there isn't as good women's soccer players as men. I'm gonna tell you something, buddy. Don't mess with the ladies because they'll probably beat you too.
We actually have Audrey. She's one of our international producers, and she's here playing tennis.
She's
among
here on a
other
scholarship
things.
playing tennis, right?
Yeah, but I'm not that good.
First of all,
just so you
how
know.
can you be
Wait,
not
so
that
we need
good?
to break that situation
'Cause
out of your
I'm-
mouth right now.
I'm like, I wasn't recruited for tennis. Like, I came just because I had like good academic scholarship, and then I walked on the tennis team and they gave me a scholarship. But I wasn't horrible, so they did give me a little bit of scholarship.
But wait a minute, did you go to school on a scholarship?
Like right now?
No, before on the grades.
No.
Oh, so you were paying?
We don't pay for school.
What brought you to the United States?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do like film production and all that, and I thought like there's going to be way more opportunities here than I have in France.
So when you came over, did you pay out of pocket to go to school?
No, I came on scholarship, but it was mostly academic though. It was like academic and a tiny bit of.
Okay,
Athletic.
follow the bouncing ball. You came on academic scholarship, and now you're here on tennis scholarship. So you're always
I'm
doing
on
the
both.
scholarship. You're on both.
Yeah.
So you took a good situation and made it better.
Exactly.
You see, that's what I'm talking about. So if you want to, in your future, guys, you want to meet somebody, like this, a go-getter.
3 languages you speak?
Yep.
And you work on your master's or your
I'm still at my bachelor's. I'm a junior. I'll be a senior in September.
And she is unbelievable. 3 languages, tennis, orchestra. And he's in France, and we're here with us a couple of days a week. And I've never seen anyone put out commercials as quickly as you do.
She's
We're
quick.
doing another one now.
Well, she happens to be a brain. She has a brain, and she's a tennis star. And she says she's not that good. Can you imagine any university, any school, giving you money to go and play tennis, and then the tennis player tells you, I'm not that good. Really? That's like Billie Jean King saying, I'm not that good.
But you are great. What's it like to be our international producer?
It's really nice, honestly. I really like the perspective that I have. And like, I like talking with everyone because even though no one else is international, like, for example, Sabrina, I like talking to her because she has like a different outlook because she can speak 2 languages, but she's from here. And then, I mean, all the interns are really nice and you guys are cool. So it's pretty nice. I mean, it's a great experience for me. And I don't know, it's just fun coming here, which you don't get everywhere, obviously.
Now, you came from Paris?
Yeah. Well, like the suburbs of Paris. Yeah.
Big difference between here and there?
Enormous. So, yeah, 2 worlds. So, like, where I come from, first of all, the weather isn't the same, obviously.
Because it always rains in Paris.
Not necessarily, but it gets really cold.
It snows in Paris.
Sometimes. And then the people aren't the same. Like, the culture here is so different. First of all, there are a lot of mixed cultures here, especially in South Florida. Whereas where I live, I mean, there are mixed cultures, but it's not the same. Like in France, we don't have communities and that idea of the groups and everything. We don't have that. Like everyone's French, no matter where they're from. Even though it's the same kind of here, but here it's like everyone has a background. They know a little more about it, all of that. I think that's really cool.
Interesting. Everyone in France is French.
Yeah.
Well, your parents were not French.
Not even, yeah, which is crazy. Like, I come from still, I'm French. Like, to a French person, as long as you speak French, you're French. Whereas here, it's kind of, like, very different. And then the one thing that I like here is that people are so nice.
People are nice here.
Yeah, like, people in Paris sometimes get very rude. And, I mean, in general, like, obviously not everyone is nice. Some people can be, like, a bit hypocritical, I guess, here. But overall, it's so different. People are smiling, they're happy.
You like it here?
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
And I'm gonna give you another piece of advice. Latinos, especially male Spanish Puerto Rican kids, they don't speak the language. Ask my 2 boys. They don't speak any Spanish.
Oh yeah?
They understand it.
Yeah.
They don't speak it. Don't know more Spanish than they do. And they were raised with grandparents that spoke Spanish because my parents didn't speak English. So it's really the desire to want to. You want to speak Spanish, you learn. You want to speak French, you learn. But it's the wanna. If you don't wanna, then you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
I'm Latino, I was talking in there fuego. And I said to the guy, I can't speak to you the way you can, because they got wing it, man. This guy, he's Cuban, woo! He said, no, Santonio, I'm going to tell you something. I understand you perfectly. He was being nice. But I understand how you feel. And it's funny because language makes you feel home. When you're able to speak your language, you sort of feel like you're home, you know? Like I can talk the BS that I do, and I feel home.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we
She
love
did.
having you. Thank you. We love having you, and we always say our producers, they all make each other better. What about money in France? Is there like money culture issues? Are women as independent in France as they are here?
Yeah, honestly, I would argue that sometimes they're not more independent because here there are a lot of the concept of girl boss isn't really a thing in France because it's kind of like it's almost like women don't even try sometimes in France.
Really?
Like they'll obviously feminism is a very big thing and like there is more acceptance sometimes towards women, but there's a French culture of not doing things that's crazy to me. Like that's why I came here because I was so annoyed with people just saying like people in general, but I've seen it a lot with girls just saying like, oh, you know, I don't want to be too ambitious. I just want to earn like minimum wage and just get by. And that for me was just crazy. 'Cause
You're nothing like that.
no, I really don't want that.
You are nothing like that.
Is it true that the romantic languages, there's more male machismo going on? Because French is a romantic language, so is Spanish. Latino men, and I'm being one of them, they're very dominant when
Are you
it
very
comes.
romantic?
A romantic language.
I guess that would be no.
No, you're not listening, Lucy.
I am Italian,
Romantic
French.
language, yes. That the male, listen to the question. We're not talking about the romance. We're talking about dominance. And women shouldn't feel that way, right? But this is a problem the French men do.
Yeah.
They encourage that behavior.
Well, what's crazy is that in our language, there's systemic, like, sexism. For example, when you say them, as in, like, multiple people, you use the masculine term. Like, I don't know how to explain because...
In French, them is masculine?
Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy. Like, whenever there's a group of people, you have to use the masculine in French.
Like they or them.
Like
yeah, but
maestro
there's
and
no
maestra.
neutral pronoun. It has to be masculine. So it shows that how much like it's how, you know, sexist the language is. But then obviously like there's a lot of progress and evolution and the country, I mean my country, I would argue that it is still very advanced compared to here on a lot of things. Issues of racism and equality, I mean obviously it's a problem in the world, but in France I think they're making good progress because people are very mad, I guess, and French people can just, I mean, if you're always mad about something, something is bound to happen. So.
Well, when a French guy and a girl, they argue, man, the language is like, wow.
I gotta tell you though, I said it this morning before Audrey got in. I'm hoping you're here on Thursday because our producers get to put on their own show. It's called 2020 Vision when they come together. And I'm really looking forward to this week for Alyssa and Audrey and JP to come together and share what's going on in our wonderful state on legislation and as well as women empowerment because I'd love to hear their perspective from their generation because it's so different from Deb, from Natalia, from Susan, from us, all our ages and everything we come to from our stories of our past. I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
Governor
on
got
Thursday
your
night.
goat, didn't he? The governor got your
No,
goat.
it wasn't the governor that got my goat as much as the Surgeon General that got my goat because all he did to me was put a feather in that cap. And that just, when it comes to kids and health and children's rights, that is you know, I've built our platform, my side of it, on women and families and children. And that to me got my goat. So I want to hear
Let's
what
call
their
them.
generation
Let's call
has
up
to
there.
say.
Let's
I'm
put 'em on
ready to
the
go,
spot.
and that's so not me. But that to me just took away the rights of families and children, among other things. So Audrey, welcome. Get ready for Thursday.
Yeah.
2020 Vision
I'm
is
ready.
coming out Thursday afternoon.
It's going to be fun. We also got Josh Square is going to be doing a sports show. We're going to be bringing you that as well.
And we've got Angel, so we've got our new senior show that is moving over here to Touched by Angel, and she's got a little meet and greet here with the Low Sugar Bakery. So a lot of great stuff.
Hopefully
But
Susan
until
will put-
Thursday, Melanie, I can't thank you enough for all of these amazing connections.
So glad to put them in touch with you.
And I look forward to your foot healing so you can drive and come be a part of us live in studio. But until then, we have a great option.
Thank you.
And Deb, how do people find you and hire you as a photographer?
My website, the easiest way is jupiterphotographer.com.
I even asked her for Girl Scout cookies, and they're sold out. So
We
no Girl
did.
Scout cookies for us.
Not today. Next year, I'll bring you Girl Scout cookies.
Next year, no. Let's bake some cookies. And
We
call
can
them
bake
Girl Scout
cookies.
cookies. Well,
I
nobody's
will
gonna
have
know.
my tiniest Girl Scout bake you some cookies. How's that?
There you go.
Okay.
I got a Susan Bake oven. I still have it from the day with the light bulb. Remember that? Whatever.
Whatever.
No, it's a Susan Bake oven.
I had an easy bake. You had a Susan bake?
Yes, I go
That's
back
your
further than
ex-wife.
you. Oh, God help
Maybe
us.
Susan bakes.
It could be. It could be.
Have a great day, everyone. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. You can find this show live on social media. You can also find it re-uploaded to Roku, where we have a worldwide audience of, wow, upwards of 100,000+.
Amazon Fire as
So
well.
thank you all to sharing and doing what you do. Ladies, happy International Women's Day. Audrey, thank you. Slick, everyone running the board. Have a great day, everyone. We will see you in a little bit.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
In the cold and sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can pick in every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save it. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors, just to reapply, bathing me in drops of ink that glaze across my body. Wish you could unfreeze my heart and we could fly